Welcome to Scotland in May. Look at it. Cape Wrath, you're not beating us.
Say goodbye to the bog.
This is brutal. Hello and welcome to the channel. Welcome to Scotland and welcome to the start of the Cape Wrath Trail. So we arrived in Fort William yesterday. I say we. I'm with a good friend of mine, Darren, who's back there, talking to a couple of other Cape Wrafters that have started this morning. So night in a hotel, Wetherspoon's breakfast this morning, and then we caught the 10:30 ferry across and we've started. So the plan is to do the walk over 16 days. We've got one extra day if we need it. We're carrying 8 days worth of food, and we've got a resupply at Kinlochheugh Post Office on day 9 to collect with another 8 days worth of food. We're going to be mainly wild camping on this one because of the nature of the trail. If we can get in a campsite, we will do, for a very much needed shower, no doubt. We've got varied mileage each day. It's going to be epic. It's going to be absolutely amazing, but it's going to be brutal. But we're starting in the sunshine. We've got snow on Ben Nevis behind us. Absolutely perfect conditions. So let's go. The Cape Wrath Trail, day 1, mile 1. Think this road's quiet, it's not. So that hotel over there is the hotel that I stayed at when I finished the West Island Way. It's actually 2 miles outside Fort William, so my West Highland Way trip was a little bit longer than everyone else's. I started that walk on the 28th of April 2025, and today's date is the 28th of April 2026, so exactly 1 year on. And when we finished the walk, the guy that took our picture in Fort William had just finished the Cape Wrath Trail, so I'm hoping it's a little bit of a good luck omen. So we've just gone over 3 miles along the road, which is quite busy actually. There's wagons, cars and all sorts coming past us. We're going to get to the tree in a couple more miles where all the stones are. And I think we'll stop there for a bit. I'm going to take the hoodie off because I'm getting a bit hot. We've bought some pebbles with us to leave. So yeah, I think we'll stop there for a little bit and then turn right and start heading up the Cona Glen. It's really great to be back in Scotland. It's such an amazing country, it really is. Yeah, we're really pleased to be back here and finally on the Cape Wrath Trail. So we've arrived at the tree with all the stones. So in a minute we're going to go right up there. we're all round the back. Starting to get a bit real now that I'm seeing this. Quite a few. Darren's just left that one. So this is mine. I'm going to leave. 28th of the 4th, 26th. The Summit Explorer was here. So yeah, where should we put you? We'll put you there. There you go. So we've just done 6.8 miles to here from getting off the ferry. Yeah, I think we're going to carry on a little bit further and then stop by the river, I think, for something to eat. Right, starting to get real. Cape Wrath Trail at the Pebble Tree. Right, let's carry on a bit more. Right, so we've carried on a bit more, nearly 3 mile more, and we've come to the wire bridge. You see it here going across. The rivers are very low, as we've been coming up Cona Glen, which is a good thing for when we need to get across them, but a bad thing if they get any lower for water. Right, I think we're going to have about 30 minutes here. We were going to try and get to the Bothy, Bothy, but that's another 2 mile further on, so we're going to chill here for half an hour, I think. Oh, oh, oh. Oh. Not that bad, actually.
No. If there's a raging torrent under your feet, you'd be a bit more worried.
Yeah. That's quite easy, actually.
Yeah.
I wonder what they use it for.
Right, where's my wire cutters now? Oh, he's going all the way.
Do this with the rucksack on.
You could have you had to. Yeah, well done. Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't do that with your rucksack on. I'll come back. Boom.
What would happen if I give this a shake?
Nothing, because you only go that far, don't you?
Ooh.
Day one on the Cape Wrath. You fall in. I actually wouldn't mind falling in because I'm quite that hot.
I can push you, that's not a problem.
It's easier than you think.
Yeah, it wasn't hard, I just didn't want to ruin any tread on my trail runners. Yeah. Not really designed for wire walking.
You definitely couldn't do that with a rucksack on.
You'd struggle, wouldn't you?
I'm not going to attempt it with a rucksack on.
Right.
Done. Right, we're on the move again. A little bit of a play on the wire bridge. Made it to the other side. Darren didn't.
I didn't want to try.
He didn't try. You definitely couldn't do it with a rucksack on. But yeah, it was a bit of fun. Darren soaked his feet. So yeah, we're on the move again. So we're going to hit the Bothy, I reckon, in about 2 more miles. and then probably about another 3 miles to the end of Cona Glen, which is where we're planning to camp for the night. Right, let's keep going. Don't know if you can make out the colour in the rock. It's kind of white, and then over there it's like pink. Yeah, quite cool colours. Over there it goes whitey pink. We keep coming across like little sections of river like this that just look amazing, and you obviously can't film them all. But yeah, it's quite a spectacular glen, Cona Glen. Called valleys where I come from, but in Scotland called glens. Yeah, quite a cool place. Bothy, this is the one that's locked and you can't get in. It's a private bothy. Looks like someone's had a fire though. I have seen people camping here though, which is a bit cheeky really, I don't know. Can have a bath and use the loo while we're here. Although I don't really fancy my chances in that. They must be refurbing it. I believe the barbed wire's been put there to stop people going in there and using it as a toilet. Right, I think we'll have 5 minutes here and then crack on again. Right, so we're off again. A couple of lads caught us up at the Bothy from, where are they from? Yorkshire? Bridlington in Yorkshire. They're doing the Cape Wrath. We actually we were chatting to them on the ferry this morning when we came over. So they're going to be camping at the end of the glen. So we've got approximately just over 3 miles to get to the end of the Cona Glen. But before we get to the end of it, we'll start looking for somewhere to camp for the night. It's not been a bad first day. Nice and sunny, good weather, no wet feet. Yeah, it's not been a bad first day. Right, 3 more miles and then start looking somewhere to camp. Somebody pitched up already, just about there if you can see him. Got the fire going, you could see the smoke as we were walking down the path. I think it's only 3:30. So it looks like that's where he's stopping for the day. So if that's you, good luck fella. Right, we've only got about a mile left to go now. And then start looking for the pitch. Right, okay, we've found our spot for the night. So I'm there. Darren is just there. We're literally feet off the path. It's just there behind me, and in front of us we've got the river, so a nice water source. And the path that we need to take tomorrow and go up and over into Glenfinnan, don't know if you can make it out, it's just there. So that's why we're going to head up and over this tomorrow and into Glenfinnan. But yeah, that will do for tonight. I mean, last night we had the luxury of a hotel room, but our view out the window was a car park. Look at that for a view. First night on the Cape Wrath, that will do. Right, I'm going to get the kettle on, have a brew, have some food. I'll bring you back later on, we'll have a chat about today and we'll do some map time. Right, okay, the sun has set. My meal is rehydrating. I know some people eat the meals by weight. I just thought I'd eat it by bulk, so how much room it's taking up in the bag. The real Chermak meals seem to be the bulkiest, so I'm on a real churn out beef stew tonight. I've had a brew and a few other bits, packet of peanuts and stuff. So not a bad day on the Cape Wrath today, day 1. It was good to finally get started. We've been planning this for about 6 months, so it's really good to finally get started. 7 miles of road walking at the start. Yeah, not great, and it was quite a busy road as well. Lots of wagons, bicycles, cars and stuff coming past every sort of 5 minutes. And then you turn right at the tree that's got all the pebbles, and that's kind of when it kicked in, and it sort of thought, yeah, we're on the Cape Wrath. I recognise this bit off other people's videos. And then you follow the 4x4 track all the way up to where we are now. Quite a warm day, quite sunny. If it continues, I'll have to put some sun cream on tomorrow. Bone dry feet, which is a plus, but we've not done any river crossings, and I think even if we did, our socks would have dried out pretty quick in the hot weather that we've had today. So yeah, I've enjoyed it. If it continues like this, it'll be quite cool. So tomorrow we head up and over the Beelac, which is ahead of us, and down into Glen, under the viaduct, Corryhully, Bothy, and yeah, I think once we get to that stage, it's yeah, it's really gonna kick in that we're on the Cape Wrath and it's happening, we're doing it, sort of thing. So right, well, my chilli stew, was it chilli stew? Beef stew is rehydrating. We'll take a look at the map and we'll do some map time. Right, okay, map time. So we arrived yesterday at 4:10 into Fort William after being on 3 different trains for about 8 hours. And then you get off the train and there is a big Morrison's, so if you need anything, I'm sure you'll get it in there. You then walk down the main strip, like the main high street if you will. There's quite a few outdoor shops, Go Outdoors, Nevis Sports, there's a Cotswolds and a few others, and there's little touristy shops and stuff. Tesco Express, there's quite a lot on the main street. We then stayed at the Travel Lodge, which is right at the finish of the West Island Way, so if you've done the West Island Way, you'll know where I mean. Next door to that is a Wetherspoons, so we had food in there last night and a breakfast in there this morning. You then literally walk across the road, and we got the 10:30 ferry. There is an 8 o'clock one, but we got the 10:30 one because we were having breakfast in Wetherspoons. It's £2 to go across. Took about 20 minutes, cash or card, but most people just gave the guy £2. You then start the walk on the road, and then you just follow the road all the way up. It's quite a narrow road with lots of passing places, but it is quite busy, so have your wits about you when you're on it. There was cars coming up behind us, wagons, bicycles, all sorts of stuff really. And then eventually you get to the tree with the stones, and that's where you need to turn right. And that's kind of where it hit home that we were actually on the Cape Wrath, because it is a point that I've seen on quite a lot of other YouTube videos. We were going to stop there, but we thought we'll carry on a little bit further, so we did. 4x4 track, very easy walking all the way up. The river should be on your left, so we kept on going, and then eventually we got to the wire bridge, and that's where we had a little play on the bridge and that, going across and stuff. We got some water there, and we had something to eat. We then carried on, and then eventually we came to a Corrylac Bothy, which is the Bothy that's locked up and you can't go inside. We weren't really going to stop there for very long, but while we were there, the 2 Yorkshire lads turned up, so we ended up chatting to them and stayed there for about half an hour. We then carried on, again 4x4 track, very easy, very pretty because you're walking up the valley or up the Glen, so the scenery of these mountains either side is really nice, and it was a nice walk, nice day, nice weather. We just followed it all the way up, and then as we got to about here, we knew that we were hitting the 15-mile mark, and that's when we started to look for places to camp. And I'd actually marked here just after this little sort of bend there, and that's where we are now, by the tree.
so that's where we camp now. So tomorrow we're literally just going to go up and over and then down into Glen and then onward. So yeah, quite an enjoyable day, quite a simple day. Not really much to do with navigation, you just basically followed the road and followed the 4x4 track. So I'm going to eat my food, have some water. I could just murder an ice cold cider, but unfortunately I haven't got one. So I'm just going to have water and my food. So a good day on day one on the Cape Wrath. So I shall see you all tomorrow for day 2 of the Cape Wrath Trail. See you tomorrow.
Well, good morning. Slept quite well last night. Woke a couple of times. Keep hearing cuckoos all around us. They were going off through the night. So the tents are pretty wet this morning. Plenty of condensation. The sun has come up over there, but it's not quite made it to us yet. So yeah, tents were pretty soaking last night. I've just been squeezing it off. So porridge on the go, got a brew. Darren's pretty much doing the same. So we'll finish our breakfast, get packed up and make our way into Glen. Right, okay, all packed up. So that's where we were last night, just on the bend by the tree. Sun's up, it's going to be another warm day. Right, let's make our way to Glen. Welcome to day 2 of the Cape Wrath Trail. Don't know if the camera will pick it out, there's about 8 deer down there. Our first deer sighting. A few of them are looking up at us. Probably thinking, hey up, a couple more on the Cape Wrath Trail this morning. I imagine we're going to see plenty of deer on this trip. Right, onward. So that's us up and out of the Cona Glen. Wasn't too bad actually. Kind of goes up, levels out, goes up, levels out. What a view. Sometimes you just got to stop, turn around and it's like, whoa, look at that. Right, start making our way down to Glen. So this is our first little river crossing, but as you can see it's quite easy. I have seen people knee deep in this, dropping down into Glen. But yeah, today we got lucky and no wet feet. So we come to the signpost where it should say Glen that way. Found this little path here, a little track, but you can see there's a hole where the sign should be. But yeah, it's definitely this way, and not that far now. We should come to a bridge, walk across that and then into Glen. Alright, we've just done over 6 miles, so we'll have a nice break at Glenfinnan. Back into the land of people. We are at Glenfinnan. Visitors centre is behind me there, which we're going to pop into in a bit. Just making our way over to the Jacobite monument. So I'm going to go have a look at that. And then I think we'll chill out here for half an hour. Probably get a brew or something in the visitors centre. See if we can charge a few things up. Yeah, not been too bad. That's just took us just over 3 hours and just under, well, around about 6.5 miles. Right, let's spend some time in Glenfinnan. Right, so that's us leaving the visitors centre. A couple of cans of pork, bag of crisps to let me charge your power pack up. Quite busy, lots of people there, lots of tourists, including us too. So sunglasses on, sun cream on. Let's go. So there it is, the Harry Potter Bridge, the viaduct. No trains today apparently. The sign said in the cafe. Pretty cool though. When I walked the Dales Way a few years ago, somebody said to me, you walk past the viaduct that the Harry Potter film was filmed at, and I commented on my video, and then someone corrected me saying, no, it's not that one, mate, it's actually in Glenfinnan at Scotland. So now I can say I've walked under the viaduct bridge that the Harry Potter film was filmed on. Right, so now I can say I've officially walked under the Harry Potter Bridge. It's pretty cool. Right, let's get going. Corryhully Bothy next. So this is Corryhully Bothy. One of the bothies that's actually got electricity. Oh, wow, it's quite dark in here. Yeah, power points there. Very strong smell of smoke, which is usual for a bothy. Yeah, it's got lights as well. And someone stayed here called Ball Bag Roddy. I've actually seen people camping outside here. They've even got firewood. I believe this is on a private estate, so it is actually owned by someone who look after it. Yeah, I've seen people camping over here on videos. You can see a couple of fire pits actually, nice and level next to the river. Yeah, it'd make a good one this if you wanted to stay in a bothy for the night. Charge everything up. I imagine because it's got electricity, it's quite a popular one this, so I imagine it'd be quite busy at night. Right, I think we're going to stay here for 10 or 20 minutes or something. I'm going to get a bit more charge in my phone and then we'll carry on. Right, so that's us leaving Corryhully Bothy. A little bit of charge in the phone, dropped a couple of quid in the honesty box. We're talking to a guy in there who turned up after us. He did the Cape Wrath 3 years ago. He's now 80 and he's been out in the mountains for the past 3 days wild camping still. I think that's pretty cool. 80 and still wild camping. So that means he did the Cape Wrath when he was 77. Right, we've got about 9 or so miles to go to a chul, or a chuli bothy, however you want to pronounce it. Right, let's get going. Okay, So the bothies down there are about a third of the way up, and we're heading up in between these two. That one is Streep, I think that's how you pronounce it, and that one is Squirthulam or something. I'm probably absolutely murdering the Scottish Gaelic names of these mountains, so I'll probably put it on the screen. So yeah, we're going to go up and over the Beelack in the middle. A couple of bikes there. They'd come in handy right now. Right, so we've just gone through the gate that everybody films themselves going through, because there's no fence either side of it. We're going to start making our descent down now. It wasn't too bad getting to the Beelack, but there is a false summit, so when you get to the top, it's not the top. It carries on a bit more, but it kind of gets steeper the higher you get, sort of the last bit, so it's not too bad really. So we're just going to make our way down and then round to the left, and then head towards the forest. Into the forest, take a right, and then I think we're in the forest for a couple of miles, and then get to the Bothy. We've just hit 13 mile, so we've roughly got about 6 miles to go, so not too bad. Right, we're nearly at the woods. Actually someone pitched up then, an MSR tent. So we're going to head into these woods. Just hit 16 mile, so we've got just over 3 miles to go. That was a lot harder coming down that than it was going up, and a lot boggier, so we have got very wet feet, but you can't come on the Cape Wrath and expect your feet to be dry for very long. But yeah, you can't really see it now, we've come down it, but yeah, that was tough coming down that. Slow going, but I'm glad we're down. Right, into the woods, just over 3 mile, and then find somewhere to pitch. Looking forward to my tea tonight, I'll tell you that. Wow, how clear that is. Quite deep as well. Right, up here into this wood. That's a welcoming sign. There is actually a path now. It looks like it's been put in recently. On YouTube videos I've watched, people have gone straight through the woods, which is what we did, but there's no obvious path, and Darren ended up going knee deep into some bog. So it's a bit of a panic moment, thinking he was going to lose his trail runners. So he had to take the rucksack off. I managed to pull him back out, so we've then found this path, and now we're on this 4x4 track straight to the Bothy. So it's been a long day, we're starting to get a little bit tired now, but yeah, when you turn around you see your mate and he's about 2 foot short, so we can laugh now. So I think this is where we turn right.
I think it is.
In the Bothy. Although we can't see it. Should be down there somewhere. Right, make our way down.
Even at the last minute, there's no end to it. Of the bog.
Oh, back in the bog. Right at the end of the day. Back in the bog. Not too bad though. And there we have it. A chill Bothy. There's quite a few people here actually. Yeah, there's quite a few people pitched up around it. We're not going to stay in it, we're going to try and camp somewhere around it. You know, I'm quite surprised at how many people are here. Right, I think we need to find somewhere to pitch.
Right, okay, so we're all pitched up. The Bothy's full, and there's about 10 or 12 tents pitched up around it, including ourselves. Darren's just over there. See his tent. Stunning views though. Sun's just gone down over here. Yeah, the Glen socks are drying. I don't think they're going to dry out much though. So yeah, quite a good day today. Quite a hot day. Yeah, really hot. One good thing about the Cape Wrath is there's plenty of water. So yeah, it's a case of just keep stopping, filtering water and keep drinking. So stats, we've actually done 19.74 miles from leaving camp this morning. We've done, moving time was 9 hours 30. But we left camp this morning about 25 to 8 and we got here just after 7. So yeah, we've been at it for sort of 11.5 hours. Ascent, we've done 2,979 feet of ascent. So yeah, it was quite a long, tough day. The hot weather just made it even harder. It is one of our longer days. For the next few days, we've got shorter days. So and the weather is meant to break in the next few days, so it should start getting cooler. So tonight I'm on a Thai red curry, another real churmat meal. I'm going to boil some water and sort that out. So right, let's get the map out and we'll do some map time. Okay, map time. So this is where we camped last night, left this morning, leaving the Cona Glen, so we went straight up. It was fairly easy actually, it wasn't too bad. You kind of went up a bit, it levelled out, and then you went up a bit more. It wasn't that steep. And then that's when we saw some deer about here. That was kind of our first sighting of some deer. And then you go to the right through a gate, and then it sort of levels out about here. But this bit did take a lot longer, and it's a bit that nobody seems to film because it just goes on and all the way along. This was around about 2 mile. I think the deer gate that we went through was here. But yeah, from this gate to that gate, it was a good 2 or 3 mile, that bit. It'd take quite a while, and you're kind of descending all the way. This was a fairly new sort of 4x4 gravel track, so it was easy walking, but it was quite boring. And again, you're dropping down, and then you get to this car park here where there was a few camper vans and stuff, and then for some reason you go up and you can hear the road here, and we were debating whether to sort of turn right and drop down onto the road, but we thought no, we'll carry on and we'll stick to the proper route. So we carried on, and then we got about here, and that's where the bit of the signpost was missing, telling us to turn right. But we both kind of looked at each other and we were, yeah, that's the way we go, we turn right. And then you kind of go through like a little bit of a grassy, wooded area, over the little bridge that's now open. And then we ended up in the Glen visitor centre. We stopped there for a bit. We had a coffee and that, bag of crisps and stuff. I think Darren got a coffee and cake, and they let us plug in. So we was able to charge some battery packs or get some power in the battery packs. We then left there. It was quite busy round there as well, with tourists and coaches pulling up and lots of other, people going looking at the viaduct and that. So we carried on. We went under the viaduct, which is there, and it was all tarmac. And we just followed it all the way along, easy going, tarmacy type road. And then we got to this section, and this is where I marked as a sort of a camping spot. We weren't going to stay there, but I marked it just in case. And there used to be some picnic benches there that I've seen people camping at in other videos, but there wasn't. But it was nice and flat, and it was nice and flat on the other side as well, so there was loads of areas here to sort of pitch. But we carried on, and then we got to Corrie Hully Bothy. Stayed there for a bit, had a chat with a guy who'd done the Cape Wrath a few years ago. And then we left there, and then we went straight up. And then it keeps going up. And you're in between Streep and the other one that I couldn't pronounce, which is on the other side, which I'll show you in a minute. And then you carry on. That's the one I couldn't pronounce, Square Thulum. That's on the other side. So you got Streep there, and then that one's there, and then that's the gate that you go through, where there's no fence, and sort of everyone films themselves going through the fence and stuff. And then coming down, it just got really boggy, really boggy, and wet and slippy. I fell twice coming down here, and we ended up crossing over somewhere around here rather than carrying on down. So we crossed over the river and we followed it down, and then we got to here, and that's where the path goes across the river if we'd have stayed on this side. And if the river is high and you can't get across it, they recommend that you cross higher up here and then walk down this side. Because if the river's low, then they reckon you walk down on this side, because this side is boggy, and it was really boggy. So we thought, we won't take the chance of getting here and the river's too high and we can't cross it, so we crossed here where we could. We kind of regretted it. It was a bit of a mistake because it was just so boggy and so slow going and energy zapping coming down this side. We wish now that we'd have stayed on this side and then crossed here, because when we got to here it was just a trickle. There wasn't much water coming down. So never mind, lesson learned. So we got down, we crossed the little bridge here, and then we sort of went up, and we went straight into the forest, and we couldn't see an obvious path, so we decided to come back out the forest, and then we saw a path a little bit further up here, so we headed for that, and then that's where Darren sort of disappeared into the bog, and we had a bit of a moment, but we got him out, and he was all okay. And then we went up into the woods, and then we followed the track all the way along, and then we kept following it around here, and it goes on for quite a while. It was about 3 mile of forestry track. We kept going along, and then we got to a Chul Bothy, which is where we are now. So yeah, a good day, a tough day, an eventful day, and a boggy day. So, but we are on the Cape Wrath, and I don't think there's an easy day on the Cape Wrath. Every day's a challenge. So right, I'm going to have some tea and a brew, and then I think I'm going to get some shut-eye, because it is, well, it's just gone 9 o'clock, so yeah, it's getting a bit late now. So right, I shall see you all tomorrow for day 3 of the Cape Wrath Trail. See you tomorrow.